Welcome to the Middle East Institute's virtual conference room. I'm Jerry Firestein, Senior Vice President of the Institute. I'm pleased to introduce today's event, which we are co-hosting with our partner, Crowdsourcing Human Rights, launching HOMANITY, an album that brings together award-winning Iranian artists in a demonstration of resilience and the triumph of artistic expression in the face of authoritarianism and censorship. Today's conversation will feature three of the contributing artists, Justina, Hero, and Fatima, who will share with us their perspectives on gender, race, liberalism, religion, and governance in Iran. Moderating today's event is our friend and colleague, Elise Labat. Elise is a columnist at Foreign Policy magazine and a leading journalist covering US foreign policy and international issues. Before joining Foreign Policy, she was CNN's global affairs correspondent. Reporting from more than 80 countries with CNN, Elise traveled the world with 7 secretaries of state and interviewed many world leaders and newsmakers. Elise is the founder of 2.0 Media, a digital media platform that aims to engage, inform, and inspire youth to solve today's most pressing global challenges. As well, she is an adjunct professor at American University's School of International Service. Prior to joining American University, she was a practitioner in residence at Georgetown University's Walsh School of Foreign Service. With that, I will turn it over to Elise.
Thanks, Jerry. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this very special event to discuss HOMANITY, which is this collaboration with Grammy Award-winning artists and producers, and features these original contributions by prominent Iranian musicians that are really highlighting the Islamic Republic of Iran regime's criminalization of music expression that doesn't follow their overly strict moral code and supports human rights, basic human and civil rights. All artists featured on this album have been personally affected by censorship in Iran. Many have been forced to leave their homes. Others have been imprisoned or detained for producing their music. And so we're going to listen to a little bit of the music, which you'll be able to download on iTunes or Spotify and really follow this groundbreaking project. This is the first in a series of compilation albums that Crowdsourcing for Human Rights will be producing. And so it's just my pleasure to introduce, as part of this month of celebrating women, 3 leading Iranian female badass, as I say, musicians, Fatima, Justina, and Hero. So we're just going to dive right in. We're going to play a little bit of the music, and then we'll talk, and we'll have some time for your questions. Fatima, let's start with you. Fatima is a poet, author, and women's rights activist who's published 9 books of poems. She's one of the most prominent Iranian female poets. Let's play a clip of your contribution to HOMANITY, a spoken word piece called There Was Blood.
رسیده به بنزینم چیزی به غیر درد نمی بینم پروانه ایست در دل غمگینم چسبیده بر صلیب خودش با میخ.
Okay, so Fatima, you wrote this poem after the nationwide protests of Iranian people in 2019 and 20, demanding an end to dictatorship. Many of them were killed by police. And the world was, protests from 2009 very, got a lot of worldwide attention. But here I think the world was very inattentive. So talk to us about this poem and with the basis for it and what it deals like and how you approached it.
Yeah. Hello to everyone. And I'm very happy to be in this wonderful event. And thank you. About this poem, I think it's really difficult to summarize the meaning of a poetry or in one or some sentences, because each poem has many different layers of meaning. But about the background of this poem, uh, as you mentioned, this poem was written after the nationwide protest of the Iranian people in 2019-20. And these protests began at first due to the terrible rise in gasoline prices in Iran, with people taking to the streets. And then the protests were no longer about the prices of gasoline, but against the Islamic Republic as a whole. And the people demanded an end to dictatorship. Many of them were killed. The police arrested many of them. And I guess, and I mean, I'm sure that the world was very, very quiet. And as you said, inattentive at that days. But this poem not exactly deal with the details of this protest, but with a distant look express the depths of sadness that is in result of these events and this protest, I mean. And also it's about a poet's sorrow that she is far from her homeland and cannot be with people, cannot help, cannot do anything. Or but finally at the end of this poem, I mean, this poem ends with hope.
Nope.
So we have hope for change. However, it's a bit hardship or bitterness.
And you know, when you say that the poet's sorrow, it's your sorrow that you're away from your homeland. You're in Norway.
Yeah.
You were forced to leave Iran. Tell us, you know, we're going to talk more about, you know, censorship and the regime, but just tell us a little bit about your personal experience and why you had to leave Iran.
Yeah, sure. There is a long story about that. The dictator and totalitarian regime used to make pressure on, especially on artists, in different way. So I had experienced some of those first. So it's better maybe let me explain about publishing book in Iran first. In the country, Iran, where I used to live, all books must be read and in many cases censored by cultural ministry before publishing, and many are declared as unpublishable. Even after censorship was imposed and you got permission to publish the book, I mean, when you publish your book with license, you may be imprisoned, tortured, or even executed for your writing. And if you read George Orwell's book, 1984, it's very similar to the atmosphere of Iran. And I have published 3 books in Iran and faced with different level of censorship there. All my books were censored to some extent. And even after the publication of my book, the government revoked its publishing license and collected all them from the market. And even after leaving Iran, it's forbidden to even mention my name in any newspaper or book. So my name is in blacklist, a kind of blacklist. And this pressure was from the beginning of my literature activity. I always have been under a lot of pressure. The Iranian government has problems with any kind of private workshop and free access to information. So they stopped the literary workshop that I was a member of, that as well as all the literary workshops that I personally helped. And something else, in Iran, the presence of women in a sport stadium is prohibited. A photo of mine that I was dressed in men's clothing and makeup like a man in a stadium was published. So I was summoned and interrogated for that. I mean, putting a simple poem about the problems of women, poverty, divorce, and something like this on internet caused the summoning and being forced to respond to the security agencies and government. In Iran, the poetry of social problems is blackwashing. Saying of women's problems is feminism, and feministic activities is propaganda against the system and may lead to the imprisonment of an artist.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of examples of this censorship, but let me say that finally, just make it short, then finally, I mean, they do all this to shut me off, and finally they arrested me. So I was sentenced, I was in prison for some days, 38 days in confinement solitary, and then I was sentenced to 11.5 years imprisonment and 99 lashes. So it's a summary from the censorship in Iran that I personally experienced. Sorry if I was
No. I mean, that really is, you know, to be sentenced to prison and that forcing you to escape and, you know, everything you've gone through is, you know, an example of what all, you know, artists and women in particular are facing, which brings us to Justina, who's, been fighting against censorship for years, starting in 2008, has produced dozens of tracks and albums focusing on discrimination against women and the radicalization of religion in Iran. Justina, you are a female rapper from Qom, one of the most conservative cities in Iran. And I find this combination so fascinating. I want to start by playing a clip of your song Sultan, which you use one of Rumi's poems of the, you know, famous poet Rumi for this song and added your own verses to it. Let's play a little bit of that. All right, let's talk a little bit about this poem. Essentially, Sultan, we are ready to serve you. We have our life, you have our life, ready to give our life. We're possessions of yours, and we're blind from your love. Tell us a little bit about the basis for this song, this rap.
You know, in Iran, at the first I say hello and thank you for inviting me. And after that, I just want to say that in Iran, all of the poems about the classic poems, the government try to say that everything about the love that they say, it's about the God and about the praying. But in the history, some people said that Rumi has love. He's some kind of gay with some friends that he had, and I choose this poems and mix with the rap. It has a two side for me. It's about love and it's about that. You know, it's something. I don't know what to say, but I want to say that it's something dictatorship that this person have in this poem, he or she has someone above her or him. He's a sultan or he's something king that has some pressure for him or her, and because he or she needs him or her, forced to be love her or him, the king or the master or the sultan. And the other side is about love. It's a blindest love that he or she had.
Yeah. Now, I know you've been working with the UN on their Hip Hop for Peace initiative, and you've been recording in the underground music scene since you're 16. And I think what's so provocative, for anybody, but especially in Iran and a city like Qom, is that you're combining what I would call in Iran maybe a triple threat. You're a woman, you're doing hip hop, and also some of the visuals that you've done with like the Star of David, or with your dress, really just kind of pushing the envelope. And I understand that the regime has tried to crack down, but that you've gotten so big and exploded that they've said, just go. We're not going to do any, I know they've tried for years to go after you, but, you've gotten so big that the regime really sees you as a threat here.
In my country, hip hop and rap, it's not illegal for the artists, men or women. And singing for women, it's illegal, of course. And I choose hip hop and I choose singing, both of them together. It was a risk for me, of course. And I just did it on the ground and in a hidden places. And I just color my face to make music videos and to be hide from the government. And they didn't know that who I am. And but I love this work. I just express my feelings about the problem that women have in Iran, or I have, of course, because I live in Iran and I feel the problems. I feel the censorship. For the music, all the artists, just the women, just the men, of course, because just men can do the music, can make an album, can have concert, and they should, of course, they should go to office, that they should listen to the music, and they accept the music and the lyrics. If they are the things that they want, it's okay to publish them or everything. And for the women, everything is banned.
Erotic.
Yeah, they should be silent always, in any cases, not just in the music. But I did it, and I knew that someday they will come and arrest me and investigation about me, about my work. And they did it, of course, after 5 years, of my activity. They came and arrested me, and for 3 days, they investigate of me. And just ask about that. Why you write the things about the woman's right? We don't have any problem in Iran about the woman. And I just have a discussion with them, but they try to make me angry, of course. But I just calm down. I just discussed. But end of that, they say that you couldn't continue your music. If you want to, you just do what we want. You should sing a song about the hijab, sing a song about the Israel or USA and everything, the things that we want. And I just say that I just sing and write the lyrics about the things that I believe, and the things you say, I don't believe them. And I just sing about my country. It's not of my business about the USA or Israel. They are not my country. And they say that, okay, you couldn't sing. If you continue your music, you will go to prison. And because of that, I ran away from my country, and now I'm in Sweden. And I continue my music, and I shout out my feeling more than past,
Okay, Hero, let's talk to you and your husband, Freya, who's also, you're in a group with him, Hero and Freya, very prominent group, husband and wife, members of the Kurdish community, obviously an ethnic minority group in Iran, suffered discrimination, abuse, persecution in Iran. And as Kurds, it's illegal to sing in their native language and practice their traditions in Iran. And can't get that permission that Fatima and Justina were talking about in terms of issues. So Hero and Freya celebrate their ethnic heritage, singing the Kurdish language, but they defy the regime by, having a female voice in their lyric. A woman can be part of a choir, but she can't be the lead voice, of course. And Hero is the lead voice. So as a result of their devotion, they were forced to leave Iran. So we're going to play a little bit of their song, of Hero and Freya's song called "This Is Me." So we're talking about, and Hero's gonna translate for Freya. We're talking about an individual who's caught in, these routines and traditions that are forced on them because you're not able to express your own beliefs and desires, and you're dictated to, and now you're struggling to introduce yourself to the world, to the way you want to. And that's what "This Is Me." Tell us a little bit about your experience in Iran.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start real quick. I'll be translating here. So and I'll reply back after Hero.
سلام، خیلی خوشحالم که میبینمتون. ببخشید من میتونم فارسی صحبت کنم، انگلیسیم خوب نیست. خیلی خوشحالم که میبینمتون و این فرصت رو به ما دادید. اگر بخوام در مورد این آهنگ صحبت کنم، این آهنگ میتونم بگم در مورد یکی مثل من، خیلیایی مثل من داره صحبت میکنه، در مورد آدمی حرف میزنه که آرزوهای بزرگی داشته و الان دیگه به جایی رسیده که شک داره که راهی رو که داره میره واقعا درسته یا غلط، و به جایی که میخواد برسه آیا میرسه، و دچار روزمرگی شده و از هدفی که واقعا برای خودش تو ذهنش، تو آرزوهاش، به هدفی که فکر میکرده واقعا دور شده و میخواد دوباره خودش رو پیدا کنه. این آدم به قدری دور افتاده از آمال و خواستهاش که خودش هم شک داره اونی باشه که الان هست و موارد بسیاری رو تجربه کرده و تغییر کرده. این داستان یکی مثل منه، میتونم اینو بگم.
So I'm gonna start. I hope I get the whole thing done right. But first of all, she and me also, we're thanking you for the webinar, and thank you very much. Such a pleasure for us both. And about the song, it's the story of someone like a hero, a woman, or an artist, let's say, that has been caught from all the ambitions and all the expectations that she had along the way for herself. Because of all the obstacles ahead of them, they had to move things around, and now they are so far away from the goal that they had. And they can't even introduce themselves. The song is called "This Is Me," but this is not actually me, because it's so far away from what she or he wanted, the artist wanted. It's all because of the obstacles ahead of them, and especially women in Iran, like Hero mentioned. It's all about those things that we are not anymore.
So for all of you, I think in a nutshell, your songs are talking about people who are facing difficulties to find their way because of the barriers of the regime. And, you know, they're trying to take away your identity, forced to walk the way they want you to walk. And I'm very curious, and Fatima, we'll start with you. To what extent, because the regime wants you to sing about a certain way, to what extent, how much of your expression is part of an Iranian identity and pride in your cultural heritage versus engaging in this political dialogue and cultural dialogue and using music as a form of protest, really, in terms of the way the regime is behaving and treating?
I wanted to say something. When you are an artist in Iran, you have to choose which side to stand on, the side of people or the government, because they are not in same side. And if you have to be on the side of government, as Justina said, you have to follow their ideology with your art. So your art is not art anymore, I guess. And everything is harder when you are a woman. Being a woman is a kind of crime in Iran, actually. And the government, the regime of Iran is focused on art, and because they think art can change people in somehow that's very deeper than you normally do in politics. And you know, they wanna stop artists or make them with themselves to advertise their ideology. So I guess, and I think the art is very important in Iran, and because the people, the society has a large attention to art, and especially to poems. You can see in all houses, in Iranian houses, Hafiz, Rumi, and the other, our grandmothers can read some poems of those famous poets from their mind. So the poem and the art is something in our culture. We are together. So because of that, it has some power. So, yeah. And it's amazing that not amazing, I mean, but it's interesting that both leader of Iran, Khomeini and Khamenei, both of those are poems. Khomeini was, and yep. So they know the power of the art.
Right. That's right. So yeah, Justina, I mean, look, Fatima makes a great point that, you know, music and poetry and art is just such an important part of Persian culture. And the underground music scene is this kind of young people actively engaged in a movement that more represents freedom of expression, resistance, anti-establishment. Talk to us about that, about how the underground scene kind of differs from, you know, the kind of music that is kind of more widespread and allowed by the regime.
You know, nowadays in Iran, the hip hop and rap has more fan than pop music or the other genres, because when hip hop and rap came to Iran, it started with the protest lyrics. You know, most of the rappers try to protest in their lyrics, and they try to make something about the society, about the political things. And because of that, the government system knows that this genre of the music is so dangerous for them. And they try to silence the rappers and fade away this genre of the music from the country, and they try to ban this music. But this makes people to listen to this music more than before. Of course, the teenage and the young people, of course. And nowadays, the young people and the teenage just listen to hip hop, not just listen, but most of the time listen to the rap and hip hop music, and it's very popular in my country. And most of the young rappers, and they try to make music with the political lyrics and say about the society problems. And it is interesting for me. And the government try to make this genre in the media with the celebrities, with the actress, and they try to say that this is not a good genre of the music, and this is the bullshit or something like this, and try to ban this music to show that this is from the evil. Of course,
yeah,
they make some program about this, that the rap and hip hop came from the evil. And the rappers, and they are, I don't know, it's very crazy to try to, but it's not work, of course. The young people, of course, really love to listen to hip hop and rap, and it's really good for the rappers. And because we know that we can make something, and we can inspire the young people to protest and know about everything that they don't know, or the government system try to hide the things that they want to hide from the people.
Yeah, and I mean, it's using sometimes like traditional melodies and instruments in the music to kind of, because music is so important. I think in Iran, there's this, from the outside world, there's this perception that there's not a lot of support for women in Iran. And we don't really hear about that, there's no, obviously from the regime, gender rights are an issue, but there is this women's empowerment movement in Iran. And I think music is an important way that you're doing that. It's not like, okay, there are protests, that we've seen over the years, but, the way of protest today is more through freedom of expression, and women are protesting in a different way, for instance, through their music.
Yeah. Nowadays the woman knows that, it was for 8 years ago, I tried to speak about the woman's right in my lyrics, and it's continued until now. At the first, when I started, it was not, it was not common thing, a subject for the people about the woman's right or something like this. But now, because of the social medias and because of the internet, the people and the woman, of course, and the woman singer, of course, try to talk about these things, about the woman's right, about the, they try to use the lyrics about their experiences, about their feelings that they have in the music, and the hard way that they have in the music and art, of course, because dancing in my country is illegal for the women, 100%, and it's crazy. And nowadays it makes me really happy, because the women really know that they don't afraid from anything, because we have government and we have the families that they ban the girls and the women in their families, of course. But nowadays the women and the girls try to speak out and express their problems that they have, and don't afraid from anything, not from the government, not from the families, of course. And I think these days, women more than men try to protest and speak out about the problems. And yeah.
So Heru, you're not only facing, the challenges of being a woman and being a lead singer and being a female artist, and that's illegal, but also you are trying to create more opportunities for minorities, and you're a Kurdish minority, to have expression of minorities. And so, I mean, it seems as if, yes, women is an issue also, but I don't think we hear enough about how minority culture and singing in your own language, producing your own art is also something that musicians and artists are protesting to get more, to have more rights.
خب میدونید سانسور بخشی از زندگی ماست. تو کشور ما اینقدر سانسور بوده که ما دیگه به سانسور عادت کردیم. گاهی وقتا اصلا خودمون رو سانسور میکنیم، همونطور که دوستان عزیز گفتن. خب من اگه بخوام از تجربیات خودم حرف بزنم، زن بودم، کرد بودم. خودتون میدونید کردها همیشه انگ سیاسی پشتشونه و خیلی خیلی مشکلات زیادی داشتم. میتونم برای مثال براتون بگم که
I think it's better to translate quicker. So she is talking about like censorship has been among us like since childhood. Like we've grown up with censorship. It's not like it's not an uncommon or an unknown thing. It's very well known to us. Being a woman, it's part of it. It brings censorship, as the others mentioned, and also being a Kurd already has a lot of other problems that are just like too much to describe here. And also, if she wants to talk about some of her experiences, personal experiences that we went through together. But میتونید تجربیات خودتو
و میتونم برای مثال براتون بگم که ما موقع ساخت کلیپمون خیلی مشکلات زیادی روبرو شدیم. اومدن و تمام وسایل ما رو ضبط کردن، از ما تعهد گرفتن، بازداشت شدیم و خیلی مسائل دیگه که بعدها که من مهاجرت کردم، اولین کلیپ ما که روی کانال‌های فارسی زبان و کرد زبان وقتی پخش شد، من از ایران مهاجرت کردم، یعنی مجبور بودم که مهاجرت کنم. بعد از اون دیگه میگم به خاطر این کرد بودن بیشتر ما تحت فشار هستیم اونجا. پدرم، مادرم بارها به اداره اطلاعات خب صداشون میکردن و بهشون میگفتن که چرا دخترتون بر نمیگرده ایران، چرا میذاری بخونه، کلیپاشو برامون بیار که داره در مورد چی صحبت میکنه.
So may I mention here? So she's talking about the experiences that we had previously. Sorry, this is our catalog. So when we started the first video clip, the very first video clip, we faced too many problems. They forced us to leave the set. They broke stuff and they just threw out a lot of things from us, like unknown forces, like the Basiji and the intelligence. I don't know, different agencies came over, and right after that, because of being a Kurd, it was just like too much more than the rest of them, because like it was supposed to be those people are not thinking like it's just music, or because they related to other things as well. And first of all, like when they just they took us. For both of us, this happened. First of all, Hero was arrested and punished for this and that, for singing, for producing, and then she had to leave Iran. But after like broadcasting the first video clip, this was the main problem. After broadcasting, because of being broadcast on different channels like Persian and Kurdish media that were outside of Iran, like there are still consequences of that broadcasting, like from the first day. Because of being Kurdish, everybody thinks that you're trying to convey another message. It's not only. So because of this, every now and then, her father, her mother are called to the intelligence services, being asked, being interrogated for what is she talking about? Why is not she coming back? Where is she now? Bring us the video clips, bring us the music that she is doing. What is she doing? So this is mostly because of being Kurd, apart from being like a woman and a musician.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize, obviously we're here talking to a bunch of, a group of female musicians, but minorities also, specifically Kurds, are facing, a lot of censorship and oppression. We've gotten some questions about how are you all sharing your music inside Iran? So Hiro, let's start with you. How are you sharing your music to Iranians? How can they find your music?
ما معمولا موزیکامونو رو یوتیوب، اینستاگرام، بعد سوشال میدیا.
Yeah. Fatima, what about you? How, obviously your poems are banned and you're on a blacklist. How are you getting your message into Iran?
Yeah. I try to publish my works in my social media and cyberspaces. And when my first book had been collected from bookstores and markets in Iran, and they destroyed all the books, I published the PDF file of this book without any censorship on internet. And since I live in exile, I publish my poems on my Instagram, and my book is in PDF file or available for audiences for free on internet. Besides, there are some underground publishers which publish my books inside Iran and sell it beside the streets to the people. That's I'm very happy to hear that. I mean,
Justina, talk to us about you and how you're getting your music in. How does the underground music scene kind of spread these hot tracks?
Yeah, of course, I use the social media, of course, but some Iranian website, they work in Iran. They couldn't publish the women's tracks and songs, because because the government will ask them and ban the websites because of they publish the women's songs. But we use the other websites and the other social medias and our platform like Instagram or YouTube or the Facebook, and this is what we have now.
Talk to me about other artists that are in jail for their work. I mean, I know that you've all kind of faced prison and arrest. Justina, talk to us about how widespread this is in terms of censorship and arrests and detentions in prison.
Yeah, before me, a lot of women arrested, and some of them went to the jail for some days, of course, and after that, because the fear that they had in the prison and with that security guards, they stopped working music, and it's continued until now, of course. But some of them ran away before they go to prison. I know some of them, and they are out of the Iran, or they are now asylum in the countries, European countries. And it's hard for them to work the music like in Iran, because everything become zero now, and they should start again everything. They should have connect with the people, and it's not easy for them. And because of that, it's important things about our music, about the Iranian music. Because half of the voice of the music of Iran, it's banned. It's a woman's voice, of course. And because of that, it's incomplete music that we have in Iran. and always they try to make the woman's voice back, and but the women try to go ahead, and it makes me happy, of course.
Yeah. I want to talk about the HOMANITY album, but first, Hiru, we have a question from the audience about Azeris and how the how other minorities do they face the same, do musicians that are Azeri or from Azerbaijan face the same type of discrimination? Is there a big Azeri music community?
میتونم بگم بله، اقلیت‌ها در ایران تحت فشار هستن به خاطر بعضی چیزا. خب بله اونام تحت فشار هستن. من مثلا برای مثال میتونم براتون بگم ما بعضی از سایت‌های فارسی زبان حتی موزیک ما رو پخش نمی‌کنن چون اقلیتیم شاید.
So she's saying yes, most of them are facing the same discriminations as well, and they are facing this kind of prohibition and stuff like that. And also some of the main majority websites that are in Persian are refusing to broadcast our songs as well because of being a minority. Like we have personally tried, and our friends who are from different minorities also have tried different websites, and some of them are rejecting it because of being a minority, be it a Kurdish or Azeri or from different types of minorities.
I want to talk about the HOMANITY album. Fatima, quick question to you, and then I want to ask you about the album. Do you publish under a pen name, or are you using your real name?
I use my real name, but once I tried to publish my works under another name, and for some long I worked in a magazine by a fake name. I wrote some articles in that magazine.
All right, let's talk about the HOMANITY album. As we've been discussing, there's not just women on this album, a group of prominent Iranian musicians and poets, original works, working with a bunch of Grammy award-winning producers. Tell us why you got involved with this album and what you hope people will take from it.
Yeah, it's the question is from me.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, the dictators try to make people tractable and keep them in a line behind their flags. So everyone, I guess, need to flip to turn their head to a point that may have seen but not noticed. So I participated in this project with the hope that can turn a mind to this corner of the world. And I think, unfortunately, the Iranian people are very lonely in the fight against dictatorship, and perhaps exiled artists like us should talk about this, should say something about our country and say what's happening in Iran to the people of other countries. And certainly, if this public awareness happens and the international pressure on the Islamic Republic of Iran increases, they will not be able to imprison and kill people so easily. So this is the least that we can do, I guess.
Yeah. Justina, what do you hope the world outside of Iran is going to learn from this HOMANITY album? Because it's really, inside Iran, the underground music scene is important, but being able to spread this in this way, what do you hope the message is to listeners on this webinar or outside? Because this is going to be pretty widespread and we'll talk to everybody about how to download it.
As Fatima said, we don't have a normal country, normal system or normal government and rules in my country. Because of that, I think I should, as an artist, be a voice of my people and speak out about the problems and the everything that happened in my country. And I hope that this album can show the people, the other people don't know about my country and the things that happen in my country, can inform them about it. And this is my hope, of course.
Hera, what about you? Talk to us about why you what is your main goal in terms of contributing to this HOMANITY album? And what do you hope that listeners will get from your song, This Is Me?
خب من راستش بخواید همونطوری که جاستینای عزیز گفتن، خب ما از کشوری میایم که خیلی تو محدودیت هستیم و سانسور زیاد داریم و ممنوعیت صدای زنان و خیلی ممنوعیت دیگه داریم. به خاطر همین من دوست داشتم هم به عنوان یک زن، هم به عنوان یک اقلیت، یک زن کرد، بتونم خودم رو نشون بدم و بتونم مردم ایران رو نشون بدم و کردها رو نشون بدم، همه رو.
Okay. As Justina mentioned earlier, we're not living in a normal country, so we're facing a lot of prohibitions and censorship. So as part of this country is me, and I'm contributing to this album just to be the voice of the women, the Kurds, the minorities, and those who have not heard about us. I'm hoping I'll be the voice of myself and the rest who have been punished or prohibited from acting properly, so other people in the world can see us.
Now, I know you've all individually faced censorship and arrest and detention and everything from the regime, and you were forced to leave. Unfortunately, we have a lot of musicians that are stuck in Iran and can't leave, but you all have family back in Iran. And I'm wondering, talk to us about Heru, fears about your family back home. Is the regime, because of the work that you're putting out, harassing them? Are you worried about what they may do to your family?
راستش بخواید من خب نگرانی ها زیاده. خب هر فعالیتی که تو خارج از کشور انجام بدی، تو ایران یه بازخوردی داره واسه خانوادت. یعنی من اون لحظه‌ای که از ایران خارج شدم، خب بعد چند وقت پدرم اطلاعات ایران پدرم رو خواست و هر فعالیتی که انجام بدی، چه اجتماعی باشه چه سیاسی باشه، و به من انگ سیاسی زدن، چون گفتن تو کردستان و حتما با حزبی چیزی دست به یکی کرده، در حالی که اینطور نبود. و اینا برای من خیلی نگرانی ایجاد کرد، طوری که آدمو ساکت میکنن، یعنی یه جوری باد برخورد میکنن که نگران باشی همیشه. میگم هر فعالیتی که خارج از کشور بکنی حتما یه بازخورد، یه بازتابی تو ایران داره برای خانوادت.
So leaving Iran had too many consequences for the families. Like, it's not just like doing music. You do social activities, you do political, you do artistic, whatever. Your family is in danger of being summoned to somewhere. Like her father, just months after, they summoned him to the intelligence agency, asking him and interrogating him. And after that, she's also always worried, like, shall I stay silent? Because if I say this, my family will be in danger. Because everything that I do here, has consequences over there, and they will be in trouble. So sometimes this is just like a weapon against the people outside, to keep them silent, so their families are not in danger, in more danger, because every now and then they have problems because of what she does on social media, or be it political, be it social, be it artistic activities, or just music.
What about you, Fatima? Talk to us about your family back home, and whether they're facing any harassment because of your work.
Yeah, when I was in prison, the government published my private photos on the national television, radio, websites, and governmental news agencies, and they were trying to destroy me with names and labels such as prostitute, devilish, spy for foreign, vulgar, and something like this. So you can imagine that how much is attention for my family at that moment, besides that I was in prison, and then also after that when I released by bail. So I put a house as a bail, pledged a house that they so they could also, after I leave Iran illegally, they put pressure on my family with this house that they had as a bail. But after a while, this pressure on my family decreased. So now they don't have too much for this, but it's very different for each cases, and each time is different. It may happen in any time, so you don't know when they wanna put this pressure on your family. But also, even the government doesn't do that. There is a kind of pressure from society that they think, okay, so you are a person who leave your family, your friends, your home. So this is something else. I mean, I don't know if I could transfer my meaning.
Yep. Okay, so Justina, talk to us about your family. You're from Qom, this very conservative city in Iran. Talk to us about how your family feels about your work, and whether they're facing harassment.
Me or Justina? Sorry.
Justina, sorry.
After I ran away from country, 1 month later, they called my father and said, "Where is your daughter?" And my father said, she's not in Iran anymore, and she wouldn't come back, of course. And they say, okay, we'll wait if she come back or not. We should have some investigation about it. And they opened my documents again, and in the way, because of that, in Georgia, I couldn't get my new residency because of that. And but as Fatima said, it's not obvious that when they come to your family, it's not obvious. It depends on the situation that you have. If you do something big in the social media, yes, I'm sure that they will go to your family and put some pressure of them. And but now they didn't do anything until now. But if I do something, I know that they will do it. But my family said that you can do anything and don't worry about us.
Well, that's I mean, just listening to all of your stories is so inspiring. And obviously we know this is just a small sampling of the artists, not only that are on the HOMANITY album, but that are facing censorship in Iran. Now, HOMANITY, the album is going to be released on May 7th. You can find it at their website, homanitymusic.org. Now, this kind of references the Persian mythological phoenix, Homa, who produces freedom and protects those who fight for freedom, and promotes unity among all people. So this is an effort of the Democracy Council, Crowdsourcing and Human Rights, a US-based tax exemption, nonpartisan, non-government organization committed to promoting universal respect for the rights of all people. And we want to thank our funders, Radio Rainbow, Kayhan Life, KIRN Radio, the Farouk Azad Foundation, the Nazarian Family Foundation, and the Pakan Foundation. This is really a testament to the passion for music and the spirit of resilience of all these artists. And lasting changes, we know, doesn't happen overnight, but let's hope it starts the first ripples of progress by hearing from these voices who have been silenced. And we need to acknowledge that. I want to thank the Democracy Council, Crowdsourcing for Human Rights, and of course, the Middle East Institute, and to all of you for watching. Thank you so much.